Around 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024, a regular day turned into a nightmare for a passerby. This person had planned to meet a friend to enjoy the tranquility and nature at a park called Warman. As the two friends strolled closer to the beach, they were horrified to discover a human leg. Realizing the gravity of what they were looking at, they immediately called emergency services. The police quickly arrived and cordoned off the area, finding what appeared to be a leg belonging to a girl with dark skin, showing no signs of decomposition, indicating it was recently severed. The victim's toenails were painted pink, adding to the gruesomeness of the scene. Investigators had many questions. Whose leg was this? How did it end up here? Who was responsible for this heinous crime? Our case takes us to the city of Milwaukee, the largest city in the state of Wisconsin. After the police arrived at the scene pointed out by the witnesses, they took the leg for examination. Later that same day, a young woman came to the police station to report the disappearance of her 19-year-old friend, Sade Robinson. Sade had missed work and was not responding to any calls or texts. News of her disappearance spread throughout the city, and the police asked the public to help find her by organizing search parties. The last time Sade was seen, she was wearing a black coat, light blue jeans, and white shoes. Many people, including Sade's family and friends, gathered to search for her, especially after hearing about the discovery of the human leg. According to her mother, the last message she received from Sade was a request for $15, which was unusual for Sade, known for managing her finances well and never asking her mother for money. Sade was an ambitious, self-reliant young woman, working 2 jobs while studying criminal law at the university. She was close to earning her degree and hoped to join the Air Force after graduation, following in the footsteps of her grandfather, whom she greatly admired. The investigation into her disappearance continues, and the police have found a lead that might provide information about her. The fire department responded to a car fire, and upon inspection, the police discovered that the car belonged to Sade. 3 days after finding the human leg, another body part, or rather more human remains, was found not far from where the burned car was located. After news spread about the discovery of another part of the victim's body, the search intensified to find Sade. Volunteers found a blanket belonging to her, which was handed over to the police for examination. The police found more human remains in different locations. At this time, the police were unable to determine if all the remains belonged to the same person, causing fear to spread among the public. Everyone was concerned for their safety as a criminal was free and roaming the city of Milwaukee. To reassure the public and share updates on the case, the police decided to hold a press conference. During this conference, the police confirmed that the leg did indeed belong to Sade, but the results for the other body parts were still pending. After conducting a DNA analysis, it was confirmed that the leg belonged to Sade. Everyone was shocked to learn that she had died and was no longer considered missing. This was now a murder case. The police then held another press conference to announce that they had arrested a suspect in the case and charged him with murder and mutilation of the body. The suspect's name is Anderson Maxwell, the last person to have seen Sade alive. During the initial court hearing, the defendant's lawyer tried to convince the court to drop the murder charge due to a lack of evidence implicating Anderson and requested his release. However, the court denied the request. So, who is this person and how did he know Sade? Anderson Maxwell is a 33-year-old resident of Milwaukee. He works as a bartender and a private security guard. He comes from a wealthy family. His father holds a significant position at a large insurance company. Despite his father's wealth and multiple properties, Anderson did not receive any financial help from him and had to earn his own money. After graduating from high school in 2009, Anderson joined the Navy but was discharged after 8 months for unknown reasons. Anderson had an ordinary childhood but became very troublesome as a teenager and started drinking alcohol at a young age. According to those close to him, he is an eccentric person with a paranoia that someone might break into his house, leading him to equip his home with explosive traps. He always carried a gun and had previously threatened a friend by pointing it at him. Everyone confirmed that he was very violent. In 2014, he was arrested for assaulting someone and breaking their ribs. He had also been arrested before for assaulting someone who tried to intervene in a fight between him and another girl. Unfortunately, this person suffered a severe assault by Anderson. Despite being involved in all these cases, he only served 15 days in jail. People were outraged that he didn't receive a harsher punishment for his previous offenses, which led him to commit an even more heinous crime. Investigators believe Anderson met Sade on a dating site. They agreed that their first date would be at a seafood restaurant. Sade was very excited about this date and took precautions by meeting Anderson in a public place and using an app to share her location with friends. Surveillance cameras recorded the couple's presence at the restaurant and their departure at 6:30 p.m. towards a bar called Doc's. This was the last time Sade was seen alive. When the police tracked Sade's phone, they discovered that after leaving the bar, she went to Anderson's house between 9 p.m. and 1 a.m. The police believe that Anderson lured her to his house, ended her life, dismembered her body, and disposed of it. Surveillance cameras captured her car leaving Anderson's house during this time. Sade was already dead, and the criminal used her car to dispose of her body parts. The car's GPS confirmed its presence at the location where the remains were found. Anderson then burned the car, and a passerby saw him doing this. He fled after boarding a bus and heading to his home. When the police searched the car, they found a black coat, jeans, and white shoes. Unfortunately, the clothes Sade was wearing before she disappeared. They also found her phone inside the car, indicating that the criminal tried to destroy the evidence but failed to burn the car completely. The police obtained a search warrant to search Anderson's home. There, they found blood on the walls leading to the basement, a gasoline canister, and various tools in the basement that appeared to be used for torturing the victim. According to a friend of Anderson, there was a large hole in Anderson's garden, which Anderson claimed was for building a second underground cellar. The investigators were certain that Anderson was the killer. The evidence incriminated him. On April 22, 2024, the trial began. Anderson pleaded not guilty, and during the trial, a piece of information emerged that could change the course of the case. The blood found on the walls of Anderson's house was not Sade's. The police did not disclose the identity of the blood's owner, leading people to suspect that Sade might not have been Anderson's first victim and that he might be a serial killer. Meanwhile, Sade's family continued to search for the rest of her body parts. On May 10th, which would have been Sade's 20th birthday, a human arm was found on the beach, confirmed after examination to be Sade's. Not all her remains have been found, and the police and family are still searching. The verdict in the case has not yet been reached as the case is recent. Anderson is still awaiting his trial, scheduled for July 12th of this year, which means in a couple days from today, where he is likely to face a life sentence. As for the blood found in his home, the police have not been able to determine its owner. Sade's family continues to fight for justice in their daughter's case and for the criminal to receive the maximum punishment.